And welcome back to Sports Weekly on IEMG. Talking some college basketball right now in SBVC, San Bernardino Valley College, one of the top programs in the entire state for men's basketball once again. Remember last year, the Wolverines made it to the Elite Eight. And this year they're hoping to, get back to the Elite Eight and who knows, maybe even make it a little bit further. And head coach Quincy Brewer really likes this year's squad. He's got some guys back from last year's team that made such a deep playoff run, including his starting backcourt. And he's got some new guys as well, including Sebastian Mendoza, who's a bounce back from San Jose State University from nearby Hillcrest High School. Let's check in with head coach Quincy Brewer about the strong start this season for the Wolverines and those big goals come playoff time. And now join us here on Sports Weekly on IEMG. He is the head men's basketball coach for San Bernardino Valley College, and the Wolverines off to another great start this season. It is the great Quincy Brewer. And Coach, 7-2 to start the season. Do you feel like, though, you guys could maybe be 9-0? You've played some pretty good basketball early on.
Well, again, I think that every coach feels that way. You know, we had two losses that I felt personally were necessary for our program to grow. We had leads in both those games by about 15 points, but it's just important for us to learn how to, just act the right way on the court and also play the right way on the court. So on this level of basketball, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So, even though I hate to lose, as every coach does, it's kind of good to get those two lessons out of the way earlier on in the season.
Yeah, if my memory serves me correctly, I think it was a 1-point loss and an overtime loss, right? So it's not like you guys were blown out. You had the lead and probably, could have won those games late in the game, right?
Yeah, and again, it just comes down to learning how to execute late in the game and also putting an emphasis on the team concept in basketball, which is kind of fading away, with the kids nowadays that you bring in. I know when I came into high school and also college, the concept of team had meant something, basically together, everybody achieves more. That was the whole philosophy, probably since like grade school basketball. But nowadays with social media, there's a whole bunch of I in teams. So, obviously on our level, it just takes time to get guys on the same page.
Coach, speaking of, having that team philosophy, I know you're a JW North guy, so who are some of your coaching influences? I mean, the great Mike Barty obviously is a local legend. I mean, who are some of the guys that kind of influence the way you like to coach your program?
Again, I've been fortunate to actually play with some great coaches on the high school level, college level, and AAU. Obviously Coach Barty, he was kind of like a Bobby Knight coach in high school. Just very, very disciplined, a lot of running, a lot of conditioning, and he emphasized, teamwork and also passing the ball. And then in college, our associate head coach, George McCorn, was a phenomenal team guy, really, really put us through some hard drills in the beginning of the season, and just also emphasized teamwork and his motion offense.
Coach, let's talk about this year's team. You've got some guys back from last year's squad that went to the Elite Eight. You got some exciting new young guys. When I saw Sebastian Mendoza, who's a D1 bounce back, another local guy, that was pretty exciting as well. But just give me kind of an overview of this year's squad.
Again, very talented team. Obviously, we're led by our point guard from our team last year, Dominic Daniels. He is a reigning California State Player of the Year. I would probably describe him as Mike Tyson with the basketball in his hand. Just a different type of an individual as far as his work ethic, as far as him being coachable. And he's kind of almost reinvigorated my career and my energy as a coach, because he's just a great, great kid. Just does every single thing that you ask him to do and, tries to make guys around him better. So it's obviously a positive having him back. His backcourt mate is a guy named Armand Mudru, combo guard, high-level scorer, high-level shooter that was also with us here last year. And then obviously with us adding a kid like Sebastian Mendoza into that mix, who's also a coach's dream. Just, a very, very unique individual in terms of his, just being humble and just listening and just wanting to get better. So I'm fortunate to have some really, really high-level character guys on this roster.
Coach, having your starting backcourt back this season from a team, again, that went to the Elite Eight, how valuable was that experience last season to to go that deep into the playoffs and come close to a state championship, to have some of those guys back to hopefully fuel a state title run this year?
Well, again, it was a very valuable experience, although it was painful. And most people don't actually forget that our best player, Dominic Daniels, got hurt against Cypress College. So in the Elite Eight, we didn't have Dominic Daniels with us against Sequoias, which was also a winnable game. So I felt that our run in the playoffs last year would have extended to a state championship had we had Dominic Daniels. So that's our goal this year, to win state. I believe that all the pieces are intact to do it. So it's just a matter about doing things one day at a time.
Coach, again, going back to last season and that run to the Elite Eight, do you feel like the expectation at SBVC is maybe not state championship or bust, but hey, the Wolverines, we should be in the conversation when we're talking about state title contenders. SBVC should be in that conversation each and every season. Does that feel like like your kind of mindset each and every season?
Well, again, after being here for so long, for 15 years, that's kind of actually what we've done as a program, and also our culture. We actually want to be ranked in the top 5 every single year, top 10 every year. And I think over my past 15 years, we've done that. So we kind of want that pressure, and it's a good place to be in.
Coach, 15 years at one place, that's a long time. Do you look back maybe your first year at SBVC and how things have maybe changed? I mean, you guys got a beautiful new gym. Maybe your coaching style has changed a little bit to have to maybe adapt to the players these days. I mean, when you look back 15 years ago and where you are right now, has a lot changed overall?
That's a really good question. I would say that things have changed in terms of the players, and also who's around the players. Probably in my first 6 years or 7 years, the parent, basically the coach and the AAU coach, kind of almost work together to actually help, basically see a kid through. Now there's a lot of different influences on kids. So the game has changed a lot. And again, there's more of an I concept in sports, and then also people they don't really understand the process of paying their dues, and it's kind of alarming, that kids will come in their first year and they want to average 17 points, 18 points a game. So that part of it for me, just a part of like kids and parents and individuals who are around the players. Like, everybody wants instant gratification, and it doesn't always happen that fast for everybody. Most great teams are going to play 7 guys, maybe 6 guys. So basically from actual the kid that goes from number 8 to 13 or 14. Normally in my first 7 or 8 years, those guys kind of understood the importance of being patient. Nowadays, people kind of get antsy and they don't really understand that you're a part of a basketball team.
Coach, I think that's maybe just beyond basketball as well. I see that in other sports as well, just that instant gratification, and guys want to, like you said, score 3 touchdowns a game or average 20 points per game, and he just walked onto the field or the court for the very first time. So I see that quite a bit actually in a lot of sports. And Coach, I did want to ask you, with that philosophy of, guys being patient, guys, earning that spot, right? Maybe earning that spot in the starting 5.
Did you just say earning?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Not given, but earning that spot in the starting 5.
Yes.
Early on in the season, are you still, working on the rotation? Are you still, trying to give guys minutes to find out, hey, what are we going to look like going forward as we get deeper into conference play, as we get closer to the playoff time? Is it still kind of a time to experiment a little bit, or are we too far into the season at this point?
Again, there are guys right now that are playing on my team that I definitely know can do more. And I just always say that the opportunity for you to do more is always there in our program, but you have to demonstrate it first in practice, and then carry it over into a game. It's not, Coach, I want to do A, B, C, D in a game, but you haven't done it in practice. So I would say that the door is always open for anybody to earn playing time, but the key component to your statement is earn. And that concept, as I said before, in my first, 6 years, 7 years, the players understood that they had to come in and grind. You have to work to get what you want. You have to work extremely hard. Nowadays, it's kind of people come in, and even people who are around the kids, they kind of have an expectation. I want the kid to play, 30 minutes a game or 34 minutes a game. And my whole concept, when anybody's basically recruiting my program, I don't want you to promise a kid a starting spot. All I want you to, tell us is that he'll get a fair handshake and he'll have the opportunity to end up earning a spot.
And I think that's all you can ask for, right? A fair handshake. If you want to go in there and the opportunity's there to work hard and maybe carve out a spot, then what more can you ask for, right? That's, at least in my mind, that seems right.
Yeah,
But maybe not so.
it's changed because nowadays everybody has a platform, so everybody has an opinion, and on that platform, people want to show what they're doing. So most people don't want to show that, hey, you know what? I'm in college right now. I'm a freshman. I'm learning how to play. I'm learning how to be a student. It's not going my way right now, but eventually it'll go my way. People don't want to post that because it won't generate any likes. Whereas that's probably where 80% of us are in life, not only in sports.
Yeah. Yeah, what do they like to say? Bet on yourself, right? Put in the work, bet on yourself, and it'll pay off in the end. Coach Brewer, listen, I really appreciate the time. Congrats on the 7-2 start as we record this interview right now. And again, conference play rolling around, and then hopefully a deep playoff run for the Wolverines. I will be out there at a game soon, and I'm hoping that we can maybe live stream a couple of your home games coming up as we get into the month of January. That'd be a lot of fun.
That'd be awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, that's Coach Quincy Brewer from SBVC here on Sports Weekly on IEMG. And a big thanks to Coach Brewer for the interview, and we will have more on the Wolverines throughout the basketball season. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Sports Weekly on IEMG. Make sure you subscribe to the IE Media Group YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on the best sports coverage here in the city of San Bernardino. My name is Pep Fernandez, and we'll see you next time on your favorite show, Sports Weekly on IEMG.